So hi guys, it's Kasim. So I saw this question on Quora, which I wanted to answer and I wanted to give my thoughts on. I hope you find it useful and I hope that it adds some value to the quality of your life. Um, Before I get into the question, guys, I wondered if you like the video and you want to support me get to 1,000 subscribers by June. Please, can you subscribe to my channel? If only, obviously, if you want to help support me and you actually find this useful. Also, if you like the video and you want to help me rise up in the rankings, please can you like the video, because apparently it helps with the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. But anyway, let's get to the question, because that's what I really want to talk to you about. The question says, if you manifest for 8 hours a day, will you attract insane results of desires? So I thought the question was a fascinating question. I would say to you, the answer is no. I have a very huge problem with manifestation, because a lot of people who believe in manifestation and look at manifestation, one of the things that they don't recognize and they don't realize is that the manifestation law is one law, but it's one law of multiple laws. Because, for example, there's the law of attraction, which is the law of manifestation, is one law, but then there's also the law of cause and effect, right? So you're supposed to not only wish for something, but you're also supposed to then take action. Meaning, God says, if you plant the seed, I will grow it into a plant. But firstly, you have to do your part, which is you have to grow the seed. Now, a lot of people say, no, if God will grow the seed, I will then plant the seed. No, it doesn't work like that, right? And so this is one of the things that I've had to learn in my own life, which is that, and this is how I put it, most of life works in that you have to put in 80%, and the rest, the rest, the 20%, is other people and the principles of life. Meaning that most of life, if you, for example, let me tell you how I learned this lesson. This is actually how I learned this lesson. I hope, and I'm using this metaphorically, and you'll get what I mean in a second. So I spent a huge amount of my time in debt. Okay, when I was in my 20s, I spent a huge amount of my 20s in debt. That had come about because I'd had loads of payday loans. I'd lent people money, but they didn't pay me back. I was living a very high lifestyle, right? Going out all the time, drinking all the time, partying all the time, spending loads of money on takeaways, eating out, etc. So my lifestyle was very high. And this equated to one of the things that I really struggled with is I had bought cars which I basically couldn't afford. And I couldn't afford the insurance because I don't like small cars. I like big cars, right? I like executive saloon cars. So things like Audis, A5s and A6s, those are the kinds of cars that I like. But I was always living above my means. I always wanted things that I were out of I couldn't qualify for, they were out of my remit. And so what ended up happening was, I remember on multiple occasions, I would break down because I didn't have petrol in my car. And I remember the last time this ever happened, I was driving and it was near where I live, and it is near a building called the Prudential Building, because that's where Prudential, as in the insurance company, is based. I was driving down there. Now, basically, how it works is you come down a hill, and the Prudential Building is like a curved building. And so you come down a hill, and the road curves around the Prudential Building. I'm coming down the hill, and the car just stops. And I'm like, shit, I've run out of petrol. Now, before I continue with the story, let me explain one thing. What had happened is that at that time, because I didn't have very much money, I could only ever fill my petrol up with about £5 or £10. So what that meant is, of course, when you fill your car up with £10 and it's already on red, what happens? It doesn't move, right? So I had to play a guessing game of when am I going to run out of petrol, right? And so on multiple occasions I ran out of petrol. And the last time this ever happened, I remember as I was going down to the traffic lights, down to the Prudential Building, the car just stopped. And I was so embarrassed. And I was like, okay. So what had happened basically was that every time I used to break down, what I would then have to do is I'd always have a green jerry can. I then have to go to the petrol station, fill the jerry can with petrol, walk back to the car, put the hose in, put the petrol in, and then drive off. But this time, basically, I broke down, and because this was the road leading down to Prudential was a two-way road, so meaning there's two lanes in it, right? It was a dual carriageway, and I knew I couldn't leave my car there because it was going to cause all kinds of problems. Now, here's the other thing I didn't mention. I knew I couldn't leave my car there because my car didn't have insurance. I couldn't afford the insurance. I knew if I left my car there and it was on a dual carriageway and there was loads of traffic, the police would have to come, they'd be curious about what was happening, and I knew I'd have to leave my car, and because I was going to have to leave my car, the police would be curious as to why there's loads of traffic building up, there was a car abandoned, what was going on, and then I would be stopped, they'd find out I didn't have insurance, blah blah blah. Okay, so what happened was I knew I had to push my car to a lay-by because on the curve, the Prudential building opposite where the curve is, so you go down the hill, it then bends. There was like a bus stop. So I knew if I can get my car near the bus stop, I'll be fine. At least the cars can get past me. But that meant I had to push my car. Okay, and so what would happen was I stayed in my car and I put my hazard lights on and I thought somebody will stop, somebody will come out and help me, like be curious about what's happening. I'm sat in my car, I've got my hazard lights on, it's 10 minutes, nothing, no one's stopped. So I thought, right, okay, this can't happen, I need to go. I then get out of my car and I start pushing my car. Then all of a sudden, all these people stop and they help me start pushing the car. That was one of my big life lessons. What I learned was, if you do the majority of the work and you start pushing, other people will help you. But if you expect other people to push for you first and then you join them, ain't nobody doing that. Sorry. In fact, the majority, here's what I've realized, and this is now where it gets really interesting. The majority of the people who are going to help you are going to be your haters. Your haters are going to help you more than the very people who you think support you, right? It's funny, I was listening to a guy, I can't remember who, but he was saying, oh no, I think it was Cardi B actually. No, it was Cardi B. Cardi B was winning an award, and she was saying, I want to thank everybody, all my fans, but I specifically want to thank all my haters, because all my haters watch my videos and actually they think that they're trashing my videos, but by watching my videos they increase my views, which increases my pay that I get from the views. And I was like, hold on a minute, that's so true. And so what I learned was your haters watch you more than everybody else. They watch you closer. They pay more attention to you so that they can criticize you for what you've done wrong. And so people think, oh, having haters is bad. No, having haters is wonderful. There's that saying that goes something on the lines of all publicity is good publicity, right? Having people who don't like you, having people who write really bad articles about your restaurant, about your food, about your videos is wonderful, because that means you're making a dip in the ocean. That means you're being talked about. That means you're finding new audiences which people weren't aware of. That's how you actually increase your following, you increase your audience, you increase your influence. So point being is that, and going back to my original point, is that manifesting in itself is not enough. And I keep saying this to people, if something is coming to you and you don't have to do very much, something's not right. Something is not right. Because everything that is worthwhile in life is difficult, it is hard, you have to fail, you have to go again, you have to go through the trenches, you have to go through difficulties. It is not easy. Nothing which is worthwhile is easy. It's hard. So if you're finding yourself and you're like, man, this is easy, like I'm getting this quickly. No. Pay attention. That's a red flag. Like something's not right. So that's really what I would say to you. But in answer to your question, indeed, if you, and also here's the other thing. If you're spending 8 hours a day manifesting, that means you're not being productive. This is like the people who spend 8 hours watching videos of how to get girls instead of spending 8 hours out meeting women, meeting girls, speaking to them, learning what works and what doesn't work. You have a better chance of succeeding with a woman if you go out and you speak to them and you learn what works and you learn what doesn't work. Actually, what's even better is you spend 2 hours learning online what works and then you spend 6 going out and actually trying it. But a lot of people, what they do is they spend 8 hours watching stuff, but they don't do it. This is like the people who have accumulated loads of knowledge about how to be successful, how to manifest things in your life, but they don't put it into practice. If you are finding that you're not failing at life, that means you're not trying anything. That means you're not going outside of your comfort zone. That means you're not experimenting. You know, I looked for the number one thing that would predict somebody to become successful. I was like, give me one thing. If a person could do one thing that would almost certainly guarantee that they're going to succeed at some point, what would it be? Do you know the answer to that question? Failure. I look for people who keep trying and they keep trying and they keep trying. Because I know that if you keep trying and you keep trying this and this and this, eventually you will get to the thing that works, right? If you speak to 1,000 girls and each time you've tried this and you've tried that and you've gone here and you've said this and you've tried this pickup line and you've approached them this and you've tried with this haircut and you've tried nightclub, you've tried going out on the street and none of these worked, eventually you will find something that does work. And then if we find that thing and you consistently keep doing it, guess what? Then your success rate improves. But you have much less of a chance of actually succeeding by simply having a lot of knowledge and having loads of... Listen, guys, if knowledge was the key to success, every librarian would be a multimillionaire and a billionaire, wouldn't they? Because people who work in libraries, they have access to every book virtually in their library. How to make money, how to get over depression, how to be successful, how to start a business. All the books are there. But there's very few rich librarians. Have you ever heard of a rich librarian? I haven't. And I study successful people and I haven't heard of any. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. But my point being is that knowledge doesn't lead to success. It's the application of what you know, of knowledge, that leads to improved chances of success. Because even if you actually do the same things as what other successful people have done, it doesn't guarantee you success, right? So you have to experiment, you have to try different things, you have to work it out, and then you can increase your chances of becoming successful. You know, I only say this to you because I've been recently finding ways in which things that a man can do to improve his value in the dating market. Like, for example, if a guy has got big muscles, it improves his his rating in the dating market. If he's rich or has a high income, about 50K, it improves his chances. If he looks after himself, so for example, he gets a regular haircut, don't even think about saying anything about my hair. I know I haven't cut my hair. I'm going literally after this video to get my hair cut. Then it improves his chances. If he dresses well, it improves his chances. If he's well connected, it improves his chances. If he owns a house, it improves his chances. Basically what I'm saying is, all of these things can improve your chances, but here's the thing. Even with all of those, it doesn't guarantee you a hot girl, right? And even if you get the hot girl, it doesn't guarantee that the girl's going to stay loyal to you, right? It's difficult. Life is hard. It is what it is, as they say. So that's what I wanted to share on that. I don't know if you found that useful or it helps you in any way or gives you something to think about, but I hope it does. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below, send me a message. Don't forget to please help me get to my 1,000 subscribers by June. I'd really appreciate it. Right, guys, I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.